Hey, how's it going, fellow INFJ folk? I just want to share a thought that I had, and it has to do with how presidents they have a spokesperson. I forget what they really call 'em, but then what I really started thinking about was, remember, I don't know if you are into politics, but if you do or if you have, remember Barack Obama? He had a national convention and he had one of those. I keep on forgetting. I suppose I could have Googled it, but he had one of those comedians. There's two comedians. They took Dave Chappelle's spot on Comedy Network, and one of them guys, he was being like a spokesperson in a way, and he was like speaking how Barack Obama wish he could speak. Like he would say words the way he can deliver them, but then the other guy, the comedian, was like interpreting what he really meant by it. And so I was like wishing like us as INFJ, like don't we wish we had an interpreter? I think that'd be so helpful because well, of course, like yeah, so often we get misunderstood and all of that type of stuff. And a little sidetrack here. So I was at work and this female, she's a new employee, and she was asking me questions, and then she was telling me back what she understands, and and she was like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I'm like, oh my god, I say that all the time, and I was like, are you an INFJ? Thinking that in my mind when she was busy saying that to me, I was like, oh my god, am I working with an INFJ? Um, because then that's how I was communicating with her too when I was like informing her on what she needs to do and how she should do it. And I was like, do you understand? And she's like, yeah, I think so. I know it was just a crazy interaction, but yeah. So there's that sidetrack. But then also like having an interpreter. Like I know there's like apps for like interpreting so you can speak to cats and also like other languages and stuff like that. But to like really get in there because I know how easily it is to misunderstand me by how I speak and the way I speak and like I'm I kind of talked about it like a few videos ago where I was talking about like how I'm misunderstood and are INFJs angry and how people misunderstand me by my growl and all these different things. I'll just leave a link down below if you want to check that out and how I kind of explain that. But then also back into this one time I remember. So I kind of keep on repeating this, but I when I was working as a sexual assault advocate training, and it used to be a 40-hour training, so it was all week long. And one of these females, like we kind of made a connection and an understanding with one another, and so she got me, she understood me, and kind of an unfortunate thing about me being a male and informing about what we were informing, how to be a sexual assault advocate. A lot of the females like kind of like didn't want to hear me. Then if they did vibe on me or whatever, then some of them were kind of like attracted, and it was this hit and miss. But anyway, so this one incident in this 40-hour sexual assault advocacy training, I think it might have been like the third day. But anyway, I went into explaining about traumas and like how it affects the brain, and it's because there was a question that brought up do are men sexually assaulted and how. Like it's weird because they can say that boys and children can be sexually assaulted, but once they hit like manhood or a young man, then they look at it totally different. So I was trying to explain, like, not to, what do you call, allow violence or allow certain things, because we all have it in our brain and our DNA to overcome these traumas. So I went in to explain how boys who were traumatized either as a child or as a teen or a young teen or even an adult, that your brain development gets, what do you call, it gets stunted, whatever word that is, and it slows down in development. So so when you have adults wondering why they're attracted to younger girls, or even young boys attracted to younger, are not, they're not even mature. Like, you're dealing with teenage boys or young men or adults, and they seem to be acting younger. And if they've been traumatized sexually or any other type of violence, that their brain development is not caught up to them because they have not found a healing, and they had not had a place to find that healing. So I was saying that, and I started getting a lot of looks in the room, and like, and one female, she was like, "How does this even apply? What is even the point of bringing this up?" Like, I don't know, she came kind of hostile at me, and I was about to explain the reason why, and that lady that I said that kind of connected, and she kind of understood what I was meaning a lot of the times. And she went back and she was like, oh, you know how people are traumatized, when women are traumatized, and it affects their brain development, so they get stuck at a younger age, and that really happens. Then, because like all the women were like looking at her when she was telling that, and she was like, so this really happens to boys as well. And they're like, oh, okay. And all she was doing is just echoing what I just said and what I was explaining and all of this. But it took another person to relay that message for them to get the concept of it. And for my brain, I like, that's how I understand it. And it's like pretty straight out there. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, there's scientific fact that that's what happens. And just because it's coming from me, a male, there's that conflict within the individuals. And I always used to try and tell them, like, all right, you're going to listen to the females in a group, but it's always important to leave your ego at the door. And yours, and however may you think about men. Like, I'm here delivering information, so try not to see my gender and just listen to the information. And that was like always my message to the people. What do you call that? Prefacing, or I don't know. So I was just trying to prepare them that way to listen to the information versus looking at my gender and hearing it and everything that goes with that. Um, anyway, so yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's so many instances where you wish you had an interpreter. Like, every day, it's like, I wish I had someone to interpret what I'm saying, what I'm feeling, and what I mean, because it's like, it's. Uh, do you feel the same way? Where it's like, how can I say it any simpler? Like, that's the most simple way to say it, and upfront, and just like, bam. There's no, what do you call, in between the lines about it. There's no more to think about it. It's like, I just told you straight up, this is what it means. This is what I'm saying. This is the situation. This is what it is. And people don't, I don't know why. It's always been a confusing thing for me to understand why people don't understand it up front. And I like people when they ask questions. That's always another thing too. Is like, I always tell people to ask questions if we don't understand, so I can look at a different way to relay it in a story or an example. But yeah, so that was a whole little thing about. I wish INFJs we had an interpreter, like a little bitty parrot up on your shoulder, be like, "This is what he's saying. This is what he's meaning." You know. All right. So I'm probably gonna be getting a call soon and go back to work. I just wanted to leave this because I'm on break. Appreciate y'all for listening. Appreciate y'all. Hope that's probably work right now. Hello. I hate those. What do you call them? Just trying to sell car insurance or dealer stuff. But yeah, live long and prosper. Have a good day. How you feeling? Hope you're feeling well, and appreciate you for your commenting and new subscribers and all of this type of stuff. And yeah, have a good day. I'm out of here.